On this episode of China Uncensored, the dangers of dating a Chinese girl. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your star-crossed lover, Chris Chappell. This is another viewer-submitted story. You ever think about going to China to find love? Well, this might make you think twice. So this guy met a Chinese girl online, and when he finished up college, she said, hey, move to China to teach English. They hit it off, moved in together, and had a great time. Then he met her parents. Her father was apparently an official involved in aerospace engineering and was a little weird about it. He said his work was confidential and refused to discuss it. But other than that, everything was surprisingly good considering this was a Lao Wai dating their only daughter. He even approved of them living together. Then her father got sick one day and she had to move back home. Their relationship carried on as normal, except they weren't living together anymore. But then one day he went to visit her and only the father was home. He seemed surprised to see him. The father asked him if he was serious about his daughter, and now you'd think this was the perfect answer. He said he was serious. He even wanted to marry her and stay in China so she could still be close to her family. The father was not pleased. He didn't get to see much of his girlfriend after that. They would invite him over for different occasions and then cancel last minute. One time he even bought a very expensive Peking duck dinner for National Day. The plan was to eat it at their place. They took the duck, but they didn't allow him in the apartment. Then one day she came over to his place in tears. She wouldn't tell him what the problem was. Now, she had a curfew of 10. I know, a grown woman still had a curfew, and when 10:30 came, her parents came. They screamed at her, literally beat her in front of him, and dragged her off. This guy tried to stop them, but she told him not to. The next day, he asked their friends if he should have called the police, and they all said no, her parents were just showing their love for her by brutally beating her. Now, for what happens next, just remember that her father was a Chinese official, an official he had just pissed off. A few days later, he was mysteriously fired from his new job with no reason or payment. Then, the water and power were shut off in his apartment. Then, he was kicked out. And at the next place he moved to, after a week, he was suddenly told foreigners weren't allowed to live there, and then was kicked out. He even had to sneak back in to retrieve his stuff. He got a call from his girlfriend who said her parents had locked her in her room, but she was going to run away. He stayed in China for a full year and a half after that, but never saw her again. He left China in February this year. Now, all that being said, this guy wanted me to make it very clear that despite everything, overall, he had an amazing experience in China and wouldn't be the person he is today without it. Bad things happen, but bad things happen no matter where you are. He did say he'd be a little more cautious about dating a Chinese girl, though. Thanks again for sharing your story with us. What do you guys think about it? How would you feel about dating someone in China? Comment below, and if you have any stories you'd like to share with me, email me at chinauncensored@gmail.com, or you can write to me on China Uncensored's Facebook page. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time. And what do you think of this new layout?